Good morning, thriving warriors. Today is the latest Sunday in the year. Correct, it's the latest Sunday of the year. And today is May 21st, 2023 at 6:03 in the morning. The temperature is 68 degrees right now, and the high is going to be 90. I'm going to write that in the old book. These are important things to keep track of as we get going on this important Sunday. 63 to 90. And okay, well, here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help you get from point A to point B on your journey, where B is better. It is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's not a marathon. It is a lifelong pursuit. So good morning, Charlene. Good morning, Diana. And good morning, Todd. Hopefully everybody's going to have a busy day. I know that Charlene is going to work today, back to Happy Bread to make people happy. Diana, we are going to be out there at about 11. And when I say we, I mean the people that are going to take the hay, Kathy McKenna, her husband, some others. So we need all of us to help with all of the bales of hay that are out in the warehouse. And that means when I get there, after I go to church, I'll get there at about 11, leaving directly from church to go out there at about 11. And then we will move all of the bales of hay into their vehicle, get them out of there. And then I will look to see how it is physically possible to have jiggled the breaker in a room that where the breaker is not, and have the refrigerator and the stove working. This is a common problem that happens after it rains. Breaker always gets tripped after a heavy rain. So anyway, Todd, good morning to you. Hope all is well. We need you to do things here today to make sure things move forward, as Charlene will be at work. And I will be in church, then Amargosa, then back into the jails doing Bible study with people until about 2. And then around 2, the guy from the housing where Charles is supposed to come here, check out our place to see if we can do stuff together. So the place needs to look good, and etc. Well, we are at 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. Haven't told you what we do here. For those people who don't know, again, Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our members get from point A to point B on their journey, where B is better. We do it through a series of, on this podcast, through a series of little morsels that are easy to scoop out of the metaphorical sea, easy to chew, digest, or ingest, and then digest, with practical information to help us on our journey. Like what, you say? Well, there is the motivational video which I watched to prepare for this. There is the link to our online course, a link to our State Pen Practical Exercises book that you can buy. If you want the book, I don't have a copy here. There is a link to our Wednesday Baraka Church Desert Oasis Mission, actually Zoom call, the motivational video, Jordan Peterson video, Mark Devine text, TED Talk. Today it's David Foster Wallace talking about, this is Water Inc. magazine story about how to help you with your life. Daily Stoic, short little clip, how to live as a Stoic person. Seth Godin's blog, Aesop's Fable, David Goggins, Jack Rowland, Baraka Church, a prayer the fable and Seth Godin's things. There's a lot packed into this approximately 15-minute video. So let's get started. Put on your foul weather gear. How about that? Which means coffee, except I didn't fill up my water bottle last night when I got back. So I'm having kombucha in the morning. Won't make that mistake again. It's hard to break routines, etc. So now I see. Todd is in the kitchen. Okay, cool. All right, so alarm turned off. Here we go. So you have your coffee. For me, again, kombucha. I'm told that perhaps it is not really that healthy. Pen, book. Why do we have a pen and book? Because we need to write this stuff down. It's not just about watching the video. It is important to watch the video, have the routine of the video. But the most important thing is to learn, to pick up tools to help us on our journey to Successlandia. And there goes Todd, phone in hand, on this beautiful morning out there. Next in our book. Now that we've gotten started, let's go to advice from an 80-year-old. Don't allow the phone to interrupt important moments. It's there for our convenience, not the caller's. Okay, right. That's a good reminder. I'm not really good at that. I am, if the phone rings, I will answer it. And that started with the habit because people calling from prison, I don't have the ability to call them back. And because of inmate.com, if you don't take the hot potato from the people, they will go back to other people and say negative things like, these guys never answer the phone. They're all bullshit. So unfortunately, I have the habit, phone rings, answer. Apologize to those around me. The question is, what is the lesser evil? All right, moving right along. Now it's time for our affirmation, our attitude of gratitude. So please write in your book, I'm so happy and grateful now that blank. I'm so happy and grateful now that blank. It's important to write it down. Every time we see something, say something, hear something, etc., we make another copy in our brain. And if we start our day with an attitude of gratitude, the petty or the low class problems that we mostly face will get in their proper perspective if we think of things we're happy and grateful about. But if you write it down, you make many copies in your brain. You really focus on what am I happy and grateful for. So we write that down, and then we ask our brain the question, what am I so happy and grateful for right now? This isn't like life, friends, family. It's like right now. What are the things I'm happy and grateful for right now? My refreshing kombucha. Well, I would say the fact that I get to go to church. Not so happy and grateful that I have to go out to Amargosa to do the hay, but it needs to be done, and it is my responsibility. Can't really put the responsibility on those who are helping us, like Kathy and Lee, etc. So, but then I need to leave there by noon to get back here to get into the jail. Okay, so happy and grateful for. All righty then. Let's see. Don't have much for a motivational video. Jordan Peterson, Mark Devine. No, TED Talk. David Foster Wallace. This is water. This is one of the great ones that he spent a long time preparing for. I think like 6 months he spent on this, and he really breaks it down into several horizontal and several vertical channels to examine your life and lead your life. And high level, if you think you understand it, you probably don't. Starts off with a little story of two fish swimming along, beep, 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 and a big fish, older fish, not a bigger fish, an older fish passes them by. And as he's passing, he says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" A little while later, one of these younger fish says to the other fish, "What the hell is water?" And his point is they're so immersed in the water that they always have been. They don't even recognize that it exists. They don't know what it is. And he says, we have certain default settings that are we're so immersed in, we don't know that they exist. And that the purpose of an education is to be able to choose whether we want to go with our default settings or other behaviors. So throughout, he's illustrating different cases of things that we normally experience in life or will experience in life, and we can choose to look at them from our default setting, where from the perspective of our skull-sized kingdom, everything revolves around us. Or we can step outside of ourselves and choose to look at them a different way. So that's many of these. And then the thing of everybody worships something. Question isn't do we worship, it's what do we worship? And he gives a whole bunch of examples, and he again concludes by saying the purpose of a good education is to have the ability to choose whether we want to stick with our default settings or to change them. And with that, the end. All right, so a very important one. I have been watching it for probably 7, 8, 9 years. And, once a month, it never loses value, and there's more nuances that come up, which was his intention. All right, next. Okay, Ink this morning, Daily Stoic, Seth's blog. What does Seth Godin have to tell us today? Which sort of sinecure? I have to look up that word. Let's see what that word is, what it means. Sinecure. A position requiring little or no work, but giving the holder status or financial benefit. Synonyms: easy job, soft option, cushy number, money for old rope, money for jam, picnic, doodle, walk in the park, cinch, gravy train, bulge. Okay. A position requiring little or no work, but giving the holder status or financial benefit. Which sort of sinecure? Sooner or later, we find a place to hide, a place of security or sustenance, a place of safety. That sort of foundation can give us peace of mind and open the door to possibilities. Okay, what's the easy job, the soft option, the cushy number? The walk in, what is our little walk in the park thing that's easy for us to do, requires little or no effort, but there's a benefit to it. That sort of foundation can give us peace of mind and open the door to possibilities. But it's possible that we can turn it into a trap as well. A situation so perfectly created that we're stuck without forward motion, stuck with a narrative of insufficiency or suffering. The places we inhabit are external for sure, based on how the world treats us, but they're often internally driven as well. A story that felt comfortable for a while But if that story has created a stable place of ennui, dread, or dissatisfaction, it might pay to find someone who can help us see that it's possible to move on. Well, this is my life. I can't change it. Okay, so it's easy. You just go with the flow. It's not working. It's a stable place of ennui, dread, or dissatisfaction. Okay, it might pay to find someone who can help us see that it's possible to move on. If you want things to change, you have to change. All righty then, next. How's everyone doing? Check over here. Diana, I'm so happy and grateful I got to talk to my daughter for her birthday. Okay. Right. The cock and the fox. A fox was caught in a trap one fine morning because he had got too near the farmer's henhouse. No doubt he was hungry, but that was not an excuse for stealing. A cock, rising early, discovered what had happened. He knew the fox could not get at him, so he went a little closer to get a good look at his enemy. The fox saw a slender chance of escape. Dear friend, he said, I was just on my way to visit a sick relative when I stumbled into this string and got all tangled up. But please do not tell anybody about it. I dislike causing sorrow to anybody, and I am sure I can soon gnaw this string to pieces. But the cock was not to be so easily fooled. He soon roused the whole henyard, and when the farmer came running out, that was the end of Mr. Fox. The moral of the story: the wicked deserve no aid. Okay, time 6:20. I say to you kind of three things. One, expect to be deceived by people who don't have your best interest in mind and avoid it. Okay, expect to be deceived and avoid it. That's the law of power number 4. The strong do what they can, the weak suffer what they must. Law of power number 3. Power is taken, it's not given. When the fox was trapped, the rooster and the hens took control. They took the power away from the fox. The fox was no longer the threat. Beware the mob mentality. One fox, one hen, 2, 3, who knows how many hens, and the fox has no problem. Tie up the fox, and now the hens, Larry David Flip, now the hens have the power. In all things, number 3, most importantly, in all things, do good and avoid evil. Okay, but the fox was just being a fox. That was his nature. All right, prayer. Oh God, our Father, help us all through the day so to live that we may bring help to others, credit to ourselves and to the name we bear, and joy to those that love us and to thee. Help us to be cheerful when things go wrong, persevering when things are difficult, serene when things are irritating. Enable us to be helpful to those in difficulties, kind to those in need, sympathetic to those whose hearts are sore and sad. Grant that nothing may make us lose our tempers, nothing may take away our joys, nothing may ruffle our peace, nothing may make us bitter towards anyone. This we ask for thy love's sake. Amen. Very good one. Okay, how are we doing on time? 1924. Didn't get to talk about the important stuff today, which I'm just going to take a minute on. Apologies to everyone. We spent a lot of time talking about building your ship, getting your crew. But a better way to look at it Or another way to look at it is sometimes, or not sometimes, we're always also a crew on somebody else's ship. We're not always the captain of the ship. Usually we are the crew on somebody else's ship. And our goal on that crew is to make the captain's job easier. Because his goal is to make our lives better by getting us from here to success. Football, it's like if we make it easy for the quarterback to do his job, our life will be better because we'll win the game. And winning the game has a lot of benefits. So let's consider we are the crew on a ship. Our goal is to make our captain's life easier. How do we make it easier? Well, number one, by having an attitude of what can I do to help make the journey easier? What is my job? If my job is taking care of the sales, then what I don't need to do is go around telling other people, hey, you didn't do this on your job. You didn't do that. What about this? Hey, Captain, I noticed over here this wasn't being done. Captain, this needs to be taken care of. Captain, this needs to be done. That's not helping the captain. Helping the captain is, number one, doing your job when it is expected. If you have a job and you're supposed to show up at work at 8, be there at 8. If you're supposed to be there at 10 to 8, be there at 10 to 8. And then do your job. Don't start your job by asking your boss to make your life easier. So, message for today, we are generally, more often than not, the crew on somebody else's ship. And sometimes, maybe most of the time, that's the better situation. Because we don't have to figure out where is Successlandia. We don't have to get to Successlandia. All we have to do is our little part to help get there. We don't have to do the figuring out, what do we do now if we get a hole? What do we do if this happens? What do we do if that happens? That's what the captain's job is. But if he's doing your job or has to remind you how to do your job or teach you how to do your job, then he can't really do his job to the best of his or her ability. So that's the message for today. 22 in, new record. Apologies once again. 2 morsels left. Number 1 is, how do you get from point A to point B on your journey on a daily basis? Simple. Act such that yesterday was the only easy day. Number 1. Act such that yesterday was the only easy day. Waiting for Charlene to chime in with her thing of the second morsel. When is the journey over? If you're still here, God is not through with you yet. You still have things to do. Correct. The journey is over when our heart stops beating, when we stop breathing. That's when the journey is over. So our goal is to make most of the journey, the life that God has given us, the graces he has bestowed on us, not expecting anything in return other than for us to love him and do things to demonstrate that. So, to use the gifts we've been given to their fullest extent, not squander them. All righty then, and so we shall say, and cut, and cut. Anna says, and cut, and Charlene says, and cut. Oops, forgot to do this. Boom.